disconnect the battery, and you're going to remove cabin air filter. Next, you got to remove the factory air box and unplug your MAF sensor. Once that's out of the way, you just got to take off your belt. Next, you're going to disconnect and remove the alternator. Once the alternator is removed, you got to get to this oil separator on your intake manifold. You just got to disconnect it. Once you got it disconnected, you got to block off the sensor. So this is what it looks like when it's blocked off. You got to work on the rear side of that oil filter breather. Disconnect that part. Basically, we're going to extend that hosing so it reaches to the very front. So I extended the breather hose, goes all the way down and through the manifold underneath, and it's routed to right here. Next, we're going to disconnect the fuel purge that goes to the throttle body, and we're going to plug that one. This is what it looks like when it's all plugged up. Fuel purge is now blocked off right there, and on the other end of it you gotta attach this hose. So now it's running out. You got the oil, now you got the fuel. Now you gotta reinstall your alternator with the supercharger bracket. Once you got it mounted up, sometimes, I guess depending on your alternator, it'll be touching the positive terminal. To space out the bracket, I had to use this 1/2x13 hex nut with the M8. Thread pitch is 1.25 and the length is 110 millimeters. So you're going to need them both. After that, we're going to have to extend this MAF sensor wiring harness about 12 inches. This is the MAF sensor all extended. Let's go ahead and install the fuel injectors. So unplug this, unplug that one, move it to the side. These guys just kind of shake, like, there you go. Get that out the way, same with over here. There you are, now it's all free. Gotta purge the line. You're gonna unscrew this and basically push the nozzle. There's a little nozzle inside of there, you just press it. Next we're gonna go for the fuel hose in the back. You kind of push it forward while pushing on this blue thing. There it goes. We're gonna go for the fuel rail harness. Trick to removing this is to move one of those clamps arms out of the way, and I just take the flatheads, just kind of move it off to the side like this, just like that. Alright, move the harness out of the way, and then we're gonna go for these 10 mil bolts that are holding the fuel rail on. After you remove all those bolts, it's time to actually pull up on this rail and get all the injectors out. The only thing holding it is the O-rings. It's time to remove them. You just kind of move these clips right here off to the side and pull them off. So you just take the clip. Once you pull them all out, just kind of lubricate the O-rings so it slides in easier. Once you got them in, time to put them back. Get it bolted in, just go ahead and line up your harness. Now we're going to go ahead and bolt up the charger to the bracket. Once you get it mounted, we got to get this hose onto the throttle body and to the outlet of the charger. Once you get your hose in, you got to get the inlet pipe connected, and also you got to run the fuel purge lines and also the oil separator lines. Once you get your two hoses hooked up to the intake piping, you can go ahead and tighten down that clamp. Now we gotta jack up the driver's side and remove the splash shield to route the intake piping behind the bumper. Now just kind of route it down here in the fender well and figure out a good spot. Now we gotta get the MAF sensor from the old airbox and attach it to the intake charge pipe. Just remember the direction that it's facing. Hopefully your wiring harness is extended enough to reach. Now we got to install the pulley with all the provided hardware. Once you get the pulley on, you're going to want to install the belt so you can continue tightening this down, and also the bracket pulley. There's a little shitty drawing to help you out. Now that the belt's on, we're almost pretty much done. We just got to fill this with oil. Put everything back together. Hook up your battery tender. Let's go get tuning.